My check, doing the mic check again, because guess what? Guess who filmed a full episode with no audio because I didn't have the right setting in the camera. But it's fine. Now we're doing the mic check and I know it works. Welcome back to another episode of Inside of Tizi's Mind. Today we're going to talk about the importance of self-talk. And I don't know how this is going to come out because I just filmed the episode. But now I just have to repeat myself again and just, when you try to repeat something, it just doesn't come across the same way. It's just, no. But I'm going to try because I'm not here to waste my time crying about the fact that I have footage that has no value. So I'm going to jump straight to the point. Like, why are we talking about today the importance of self-talk? Here's the thing. Today, some guys, a group of good-looking guys came to the house, right? I live in Marbella, okay? And here everything is like pretty fancy and stuff. They came to the house to film some content because they wanted to use the house to film content for the page. And they came with like nice cars. They came with a Lamborghini and a Porsche or a Ferrari. I don't know what it was. I think it was a Porsche. I have no clue because I know nothing about cars. So obviously, out of curiosity, I came to them and I came up to them and I asked for their page because I asked first why, like what kind of content they were filming, and they said that it had like this mentorship page thing. I don't know. Because I asked for the page, like generally I wanted to know like what they were filming content for. I wanted to see it. The one that I talked to, which also was that's the one that I liked, but that's out of the point. The guy that I talked to, he gave me his Instagram. So I started, looking through the page. I started looking through the Instagram, and he claims to make six figures. I don't know how or where. The thing is, his page looked very suspicious, and all of them looked a little bit suspicious because they claim to make six figures and have this lifestyle, but I'm sure you have come across pages like this where you're like, well, it looks like they have all this, but you have no idea where the money comes from. So it just looks suspicious because it's like lacking information. So I was a bit like, weird. However, for some reason, right, I wanted to tell them, I'm a content creator. I make content. I have a podcast. I wanted to tell them that, but I caught myself putting myself down. For some reason, I started thinking and I started feeling like I was another level because I don't make six figures, because I don't have luxury cars and I don't have this like luxurious lifestyle. So therefore, I was another level to talk to them and maybe make a friendship or maybe, have a relationship. Who knows? I started telling myself that, and I realized, wait a second, why am I having all these thoughts? I caught myself putting myself down because I was comparing myself to this guys that, don't get me wrong, I talked to them here in the house and they seemed very nice. But on their page, it just looks suspicious. And I feel like I don't make six figures. I don't have a luxury Lamborghini. I don't have a luxury lifestyle. I mean, I kind of have it, but because my job. But it's not mine. The moment I realized that, I was tearing myself apart and I was pulling myself down and I was talking shit about myself, I said, wait a second. I reminded myself in that moment, it's not about the luxury cars, it's not about the lifestyle, it's not about the amount of money that you make, it's about who you are as a person and what you bring to the table. And I know I'm a fucking good person, okay? I know what I bring to the table and I'm not scared to eat alone. And I love that quote because it's true, okay? When you really know yourself, when you have a very established self, blah, blah, blah. I mean, wait, I'm speaking way too fast because I'm trying to say a lot of things. And the idea is just, I can't say them fast enough, What was I even saying? I lost track of what I was saying already. Damn. When you have created this very well-established sense of image, when you truly know who you are, no one can tell you otherwise. In that moment, I reminded myself, Tizi, it doesn't matter whether you have or not, or you don't have a Lamborghini, or you don't make six figures. It matters who you are. It matters what you bring to the table. It matters that if you get to know them guys, right, and you become their friend, the person that you are with them and that you're showing them, that's the only thing that matters, Tizi, okay? And it doesn't matter if, because I wanted to tell them, oh, I have a podcast. But then I kept checking on my page and I realized, well, I only have like 6 subscribers and I don't have many views because I just started with this. And I felt small. That's the thing. I started putting myself down and I started feeling small. Like I was this small little ant. But then I said, no, It's not about that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about the views. It doesn't matter about the subscribers right now. I have this idea, this vision. This is who I am. Okay, I know I'm a very energetic person. I know that I'm very friendly. I know that I care. I wear my heart on my sleeves. I know who I am. So, Tizi, why are you making yourself a small? Why are you minimizing yourself? Just because you're comparing yourself to this group of guys that you don't even know. Like they didn't seem legit. Tizi, come on. And this is what I want to tell you today. The important self-talk. Because it's very easy to go down that hole, to go down that lane. This is why it's so important, the way you talk to yourself, because your brain doesn't know what's true and what's not true. Have you ever, I'm sure you have, we have all experienced this, where you wake up from a dream feeling anxious, feeling scared, you start crying. You feel in some sort of way because this dream was so real to you that you woke up having all these emotions because you thought it was true. Well, that's the funny thing. Your brain doesn't know what's true and what's not true. You wake up that way. You wake up crying. You wake up feeling anxious. You wake up feeling scared because your brain thought that dream was true, but it wasn't. It was just your subconscious mind making up a dream. So, because your brain doesn't know because your brain doesn't know what's true and what's not true, the way you talk to yourself is very important. Because if you start telling yourself bad things, if you start telling yourself you're useless, you're not worthy, nobody likes you, you're a fat bitch, your brain doesn't know if that's true, if that's not true. So it will believe it. It will believe it regardless. This brings me back to another point, which is exactly what I said in a previous episode. This is why it's so, we create our own reality. We create our own truth because of this. Because our brain doesn't know what's true and what's not true. So whatever we tell them, whatever we tell our brain, they will believe it because they don't really know what's true and what's not true. This is why it's important to tell yourself, to talk to yourself in a nice way, in a nice manner, because that's what your brain will start believing. If you tell your brain, I am a good person, I am a good friend, I know how to do this and I know how to do that, your brain will believe it. If you tell your brain, you're fucking useless and you don't know how to do anything, no wonder why nobody likes you, your brain will believe that and you're gonna go around having a miserable life. And do you really want to have that? Do you really want to live that way? Do you really want to have a miserable life? Just feeling like that, because it just feels disgusting when you're constantly in this negative state of mind. Because I've been there too. I've been there. You see me here with this amazing, unbreakable sense of confidence, and it's because I have worked on it. I have worked on it so much that nobody can tell me otherwise now. I know who I am. I know what I bring to the table. And the only thing, I remind myself all the time, every time I catch myself, putting myself down, and every time I start hesitating and I start doubting myself, I remind myself that it's not about the way I look, it's not about the things that I have, it's not about where I am in life, it's about the person that I am, what I can give to others. That's all that matters. And the moment I tell myself that, I feel a lot better. I feel like every time I film a podcast, my hand starts itching. This is a sign. Is this some sort of like sign from the universe? You see, I'm in a very goofy mood because I picked up my pieces and I put them back together. Okay? I was very close to being in a bad mood today because I started making myself feel small, like I was nothing. And then I said, no, hold on a second. What matters is who I am, and what matters is what's in here. Okay? Because at the end of the day, it really does not matter whether you have all the money in the world or you have all the things in the world. What matters is in here. And I know this for a fact because I know from firsthand. People that have a lot of money. I know millionaires that, I'm not saying all of them are the same, but I do know some that, because I had this conversation with them and I remember this very well, where they have told me I should feel happy, but I don't know why I'm not happy. And in that moment, I wanted to say to them, ask yourself why. Ask yourself why, because you have never worked on this in here. You have worked so hard to have everything that's around you, but you have always put to the side and in the background what's in here. Your traumas, your childhood traumas, the things that you care, the things that you don't care about, respect, values. You've never cared about that. You always care about having more. And now you're at a point in your life where you don't feel content and you don't feel fulfilled because you're not happy with all the things that are around you, because at the end of the day, it's a reflection. It's a reflection of what's in here. There's one specifically that I know his private life is not the best. He have issues in his relationship and other issues. And it's all because it's a reflection of what's in here. He has never taken care of finding the right partner. And now he might have all the money in the world, but he feels miserable because he doesn't have a good relationship. And all he wants is a good relationship. And it's a constant toxic vicious circle. I know another person. This person's she's very good looking. She has a very nice physique. She has a very pretty face too. But when you get to know her, she's not a nice person. She's mean. She's bossy. She's verbally and physically abusive. She's also very, very insecure. And those insecurities reflect around in other aspects. And I know that because I've seen it and I see it every day. And the worst part of it is that they don't want to get the help. It's to me, it's very sad when you want to help somebody, when you want to help somebody and they don't want the help. So it's like, look, if you're going to go down that lane, that's fine. I'm going to take a step back now. But it's just sad, because they have the resources. They could get help, yet they don't want it. And then there's me, where I'm lacking the resources, but I have the strength in here. So you see, this is why it's so important it all starts in here, okay? It all starts in here because it's a reflection of your reality. If you're surrounded by negative people, if you're surrounded by people that are constantly putting you down and they don't support you and they don't treat you nicely, whatever it is, it's a reflection of the amount of self-love that you have and the amount of respect that you have for yourself. I don't know, if you have a very bad job, like, I understand, this is a very tricky subject. The situation nowadays is not the best, but if you're in a job and you could actually leave and find another one, but you're still deciding to stay there, that's a reflection of what's in here. That's a reflection of your mind and you saying, I don't deserve more. I'll stay where I am because this is all that it is. If you're in a bad relationship and they disrespect you in your relationship, yet you're still there, you still defend them and you still make excuses for them. Oh, but because, I did this and I did that. And, well, things were like this and things were like that. That's just a reflection of what's in here. And the amount of love that you have for yourself and the amount of respect that you have for yourself, that you think their excuses are valid. And that's why you're staying in that relationship when you can actually get a better one. Working on your mind, I'm redirecting this into a different direction. But I will always preach this and I will always stand by it. But working on your mind, slow it down, Tizi. Working on your mental health is incredibly important because it will reflect in your reality and it will reflect in what's around you. Okay, if you don't love yourself, you'll have bad stuff around you. It really does bother me seeing injustice all around and seeing people suffer because they don't realize that the power is in themselves, and then secondly, they just stay where they are when they could have more. And the worst part is that there are good people out there. Good people that are getting disrespected and they are getting injustice all around their life because they cannot stand up for themselves. Because obviously here, with the motivator here, won't let them. And it just really bothers me. But let's calm down for a second. Let's try to go back to my previous topic because then I'm going to get carried away with this. But I know at the end of the day, it's all related. Okay, it's all connected. It all starts in the mind. This is why I'm trying to tell you. This is why it's so important to work on the way that you talk to yourself. Because at the end of the day, who's the person that you spend the most time with? It's not your friends. It's not your family. It's yourself. You are your best friend. And if you're not your best friend, you have to become your best friend. Because you're going to be the person that's going to be with you for the rest of your life. Now, I'm going to give you a very, very good approach on this. And that is, imagine your best friend was right here, right next to me. Well, wait. My best friend was right here, right next to me, and your best friend was right next to you watching this episode, right? I'm sure you wouldn't turn around and look at your best friend and say, you look fat. No wonder why nobody likes you. I'm sure you wouldn't say that. I'm sure you wouldn't turn around and look at your best friend and say, you're so useless and annoying. Everybody hates you. It's just so mean to say. You wouldn't say that to your best friend, would you? You wouldn't. Not at all. And I'm sure if you catch your best friend saying those things to themselves, like if my best friend was here and she would start saying, I feel a little bit fat. Nobody likes me. I'm sure you would be the first one to say, excuse me, girl, have you looked at yourself? You're not fat. You look amazing. I'm sure you would do that. Now, you have to imagine yourself as being that person. You are your best friend, and you have to talk to yourself like the way that you would talk to your best friend in real life. You love your best friend for a reason, and they're your best friend for a reason. I'm sure you treat them nicely. You care about them. You take care of them. You would leave everything for them. But that's the same thing you have to do for yourself. You have to tell yourself, I am worthy. I know how to do stuff. I am useful, I'm smart, and I'm pretty, and I am lovable, I'm friendly. You have to start telling yourself all these things because you are that person. And like I said before, your brain doesn't know what's true and what's not true. So you might as well lie to your brain and tell and tell your brain good stuff so it starts believing it. What's the issue with that? You know what's the funniest thing? I know I am my worst enemy as well as my best friend. And we all are. Our brains are our worst enemies. So I've never cared about what other people would say about me. I always scared about what I thought about myself. The way that I would talk to myself, because I would be so mean to myself in the past. And I until one day I said I was tired of constantly living in that negative state of mind. I would feel miserable all the time. And now I'm like, no. I know right now I'm not where I want to be, but I know I'm an amazing fucking person because I have worked on my self-confidence so hard and so much that nobody can tell me otherwise, okay? If you don't think I'm a good person, if you don't think I'm a great friend, all right, you're not the person for me. That's fine. I like myself and I enjoy who I am. And I'm proud of who I am because I have worked on it. That's why it's so important to put yourself first and work on yourself only, nothing else. And work on your dreams because the way to get here, the way I have this amount of self-confidence because I have worked on it. But the way that I have worked in it, it's by not only putting myself into situations, okay, and learning from them situations, because this is something that I said previously in another episode. You have to put yourself into situations. You will learn from putting yourself in situations how you handle those situations. Okay, it's not the situations themselves, the way you handle them. It teaches you how you do A, how you do B, anything. And over time, you will get better at those situations. So, for example, today, at the beginning, I was a bit hesitant because I didn't want to approach these guys. I was like, I just, I don't know. I felt like I shouldn't approach them. And then I said to myself, wait a second. I have always been, one of the traits that I really like about myself is the fact that I have the initiative to go and talk to people. And I reminded myself, hold on a second. Tizi, you always have the initiative to go to people and you like doing that. So go and talk to them. And I know that I know how to come across nice and friendly without being annoying, and noisy. So because I have proofs of this is what I'm trying to say. You putting yourself into situations and learning how you handle them gives you proof about yourself, proof that you can do A or B. So because in this case, because I have done this before, I know I can go and talk to people. I can approach them. So because I know I can do such a thing, nobody can tell me otherwise. That gives me that self-confidence because I have proof that I can do it. If you start telling yourself, you're useless, you don't know how to do this, because that for example, that's my main intrusive thought. I'm useless. I don't know how to do A or B. No, wait a second. I am a little maniac about learning because I like to learn. Then I have knowledge. I am wise. I have wisdom. I like the wisdom. I like that word. Wisdom. I got here. I have all this proof that buck me up and make me say, I know. I've done it before. I do all these things. Therefore, you, that little voice in your head that's telling you you don't know how to do this, what are you basing yourself on? Nothing, because I have the proof to prove you otherwise. You see? What's my point in here? I'm getting a little bit sidetracked. I think I will try to get more into deep about this in another episode because I just don't have the time anymore. I have to finish the episode here. I had it, I had the video previously, but your girl doesn't know how to film anymore. Anyways, tell yourself good things, okay? Talk to yourself nicely because your brain will believe it, and you have the proof to it. See you in the next episode.